to On the Air with Lock and Load Publishing. We are here to have a great time and discuss everything from games, designs, production, to simply what's on our minds. We let you know what has us excited in the gaming industry and what's next for Lock and Load Publishing. Grab your helmets. This show starts right now.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey,
Dev, you in there? Okay, guys.
what's up, guys?
I'm sorry. This is going to be a really short broadcast, as we're just really going to get a look about what you guys are doing and where you've been, who's crying and who's laughing. So, you like that, huh? So, why don't you somebody give me an update? Tell me what side you're on and where you're at.
All right, we're on part 6, deep into it, and I'm going to start formation by formation here, by quadrant here. So we're going to start right here. This was a position of field artillery, a field artillery battalion for the U.S. Came on in a wrong spot, and a Soviet air assault battalion decided to use them as a target, landed in, and crushed them. The response, however, later in the game was an F-111 MLRS strike, which gutted them. So they're down to 2 platoons, 2 sections, and some helicopters that are sort of picking up the smoldering remains. As we move over here, this is a bridgehead that started this way that the Soviets are basically supposed to hold. They are still holding it. There are West German remnants and American infantry positioning themselves and holding them in check for the moment. Mark, do you want to take what's going on up there as we go up the map that way?
So we had a U.S. infantry battalion that was set up over here. One company stayed here to kind of pin these guys in place. 3 companies moved north to this little city here, and we linked up with the West German tanks that came in, and
2 companies of Leo 2.
And so we've done a combined assault here, supported by some Apaches. So what we're doing is we came up to this little hill, and then we're pushing. I guess we're going east. Yeah, and so we've cleared this hill, and now we're kind of prepping to hit that town.
Soviet T-80 battalion had been here, started to come down here as that assault came up, lost a few units, lost Tunguska, and now the remnants are in here.
If you back the camera a bit, the Soviets initially had pushed up to about here, so they were here and up there, and then when this attack came in, they fell back, and so there's certainly a lot of combat power left in that unit. They've taken some losses, but they shortened their lines because they were starting to get a little bit exposed with the units coming around.
Right, they're a little more than a half battalion. There's 6 platoons.
Yeah, so 6 platoons there, and then this platoon. So you got about 2 half battalions in that city.
Right. This full battalion moved up to take the city, started taking some fire for some M1s that were coming around the corner here. Decided to assault this way and surprised some M1s and took them out. The counterattack, though, there was a U.S. M2 mechanized infantry company, and they started basically counterattacked, isolated these guys, counterattacked. This is the remnant. They're still alive. They've survived a lot of die rolls. It's a half step of T-80s that are disrupted, so they're not doing anything right now. And then the rest of the M1s got together, and there's a large formation of two companies of M1s that actually were there. There's 2 down there that just this turn went down there to keep the blue guys in check. But there's 2 companies over here that were proceeding this way, and enough of these guys got their noses bloodied that they decided to pull back. Especially there was an A-10 strike that took out the HQ and 2 platoons here, and also the artillery forward observer for the Soviets. So it could have been a lot of pain. So this is the other half battalion here.
You may want to explain that big group of smoke. That was from an earlier fight.
What, this group of smoke here?
No, the fires.
The fires down here. Okay, so one of the features of the game is that terrain can be on fire. The black are burned out, so the fire's burned out, but these are active fires and it can spread. This is all cultivated terrain, so the fields are burning, basically.
There was originally a gun line there.
There was a gun line here of T-12 anti-tank guns, and it just didn't quite work out. The position didn't quite work out. A couple of companies of M1s came up and managed to get close, kill their anti-tank guided missile support, and roll the gun line up. But as they did that, fire started, and the bridges that the U.S. was using to go north were obscured, basically obstructed by the fire. This one bridge, however, they did manage to assault through. But these fires are continuing, and they are burning out, which is unusual. But this whole valley could end up being on fire.
Is there a fire spread roll?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's about a 50% chance of spreading into another. I mean, these are intense fires. So if you light 150, call it square yards of fire of stuff with plenty of tinder around in summer, yeah, stuff burns. So yeah, it's a 50% chance to spread, and it's like a 16% chance to just go out to burn out, basically. So we get some pretty hefty fires when they start.
Keith, when you started the video on your end where the plane shellacked your artillery.
Yeah. Well, no, it was the air assault that shellacked my artillery. But these are Rex markers, so this means this was actually helicopter Rex. These markers, they're similar to the fire markers, but they're shorter, and they have a yellow base.
And what about the missing houses?
Oh, this is the beauty of this particular map is that if you put a unit here, you simply take this off, and you still see what the terrain is.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I thought it was.
Yeah, we just have literally so much stuff got blown out. We haven't put the houses back yet.
Okay, I see. I got you.
Exactly. Yeah, this hex got hit so hard that it turned into a rubble hex, which is really tough it's really tough terrain for attack and defense, but at the same time it has no roads anymore because everything's collapsed on top of it. So if we come north from there, Soviet reinforcements have come on. This is an entire motorized rifle battalion, and this is an entire field artillery regiment. They have plenty of anti-aircraft support. There's an SA-9 battery. There's an SA-13 battery. That's their third battery of artillery. So they're in good position. They actually fired in the center of the map and fortunately scattered a lot of stuff. There's a little U.S. recon here who's trying to, snap through, go through the gap here. The last major Soviet formation is this battalion of T-64s. They were coming up this road here. And if you widen the shot, you can see in the distance, you can see the Apaches.
Yeah, the Apaches are right here.
Right, the Apaches right there that basically fired halfway across the map, literally, and started taking out the center of these guys. So they've taken some casualties, but they're still very much a fighting force. They've been eight platoons left. So it's still a fight, even though the Soviets have kind of been, had their nose bloodied a bit. So have the U.S. to some extent. But certainly the U.S. air power has been significant.
Have you mentioned my hero T-80?
Oh, the hero T-80. Yeah, we did sort of in passing. The T-80 here that we were talking about, like I said, it survived many die rolls. But there's large groupings of units. There's lots of space on a map this size for the more sophisticated and longer range weapons to stretch their legs. A lot of maneuver. We just got to a point where we maneuvered for a while, and then there was an eruption of a series of combats across the map. And now people are sort of recoiling from that and resetting for the next round. That's why we're hip deep in it. This is live with the preliminaries, and it's really intense. So you guys can say what you guys feel about it, how you've been feeling. Do you like the game? Do you like the scenario? That kind of stuff.
One day playing very much so.
This is totally up. I'm a little biased, so.
Yeah. That's why I let
Come on, Jeff. Tell us what you really think.
What was that, David?
I said, come on, Jeff. Tell us what you really think.
I gave too much air power to the NATO side.
Oh, come on. Yeah, Jeff designed the scenario. He designs the monster scenarios, and he did an excellent job on scenario 1, which played at WBC. This is scenario 2, and this is playing on this map is just incredible. But he does really fantastic work on this kind of stuff to balance these out. So it could have gone the other way. Those Su-25s could have really ripped us up.
Well, let me start with this. Keith, what was your finest moment so far, you think? The most memorable moment or enjoyable moment so far?
Oh, in this one, it was when I discovered that I managed to get close enough to the battalion in the city in the center, and he didn't blow me away, and suddenly I outnumbered him. Okay. I had 6 M1 platoons to his 2 T-80 platoons. I'm like, wow, this feels good the other way around. The A-10 did. No, the A-10 actually finished them off. I never got a chance to shoot them.
Before I think the thing that
Hey, okay, well, you know what? Go around the room. I guess start with Mark.
Let's start a little left here. So the question is, what was your finest moment? Your favorite moment?
Oh, the worst moment.
Or the worst moment?
I think clearing off the hill here. My Leopard 2.
Yeah, he commanded the Leopard 2, so
Good. Yeah, they came
And
up
the
here.
Apaches, all that.
Yeah, he has the Leopard 2s and the Apaches, so he has some pretty good units over in that corner. So he cleared the hill off.
I think the most significant portion of the game so far has been in that corner where the air assault infantry took out artillery. That really hurt.
That really hurt NATO.
And what we've been having to do is we've been having to one leg this because there's a lot of places where we'd be dropping smoke or we would be prepping and getting disruptions for the assaults, and we're just not able to do that.
Right. So we're gonna do this
So
the
that
hard
was
way.
that was a great move on their part.
Yeah.
And
it
it seriously hurt.
Now-
It's probably the most significant event.
One little detail of that event, it was a major event, is that air assault battalion started over there at Napa Berth. One of the things about if you're at Napa Berth, you're limited to 12 movement points. If you go flying, which means you're very vulnerable to anti-aircraft, all right, and you're 2 levels above it, if anybody can see you, but you have unlimited movement. So in one turn, they went to flying, found a route behind the hill, came all the way down the edge of the map. In one turn, they went 3/4 of the map length.
And
that was brilliant.
And they did a very rushy thing, but they just ignored the cat.
Right, because they had more where that came from.
They lost helicopter, whatever. But they took out our artillery, and that hurt.
And we took out the chaperone battery.
That's correct.
Yeah, they took out our long range anti aircraft first, and that was significant. And they accidentally took out what else did they take out? Chaparral at the same time?
There was fire accidentally.
Yeah.
No, but there was something else with the chaparral. Was there a stinger?
No, it was just a chaparral.
Oh, it was just a chaparral.
The
Okay.
stinger was what got one.
Oh, I was there.
So
All right. So, what? Yeah.
yeah. So when that guy took his airplane and went to shellac you, your anti-aircraft wasn't very successful at all. And do you have to check every single hex once in range for the aircraft?
I think you mean for anti-aircraft fire.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
You get a shot when they move. You can check hex to hex, but you're just checking the line of sight to see if you get a shot, because once a unit.
When the helicopter went to fly, that's what the stinger shot down.
Right. When they went to flying mode, they were high enough, and the Stingers had a line of sight, so they took a shot. So they lost one to Stingers, the Stinger team. But then they came back around, and there simply wasn't anything else that had a line of sight, so they had a really good route.
Okay.
Vulcan took a shot.
The Vulcan took a shot, but it was at long range, so because it's a gun. So, all right.
When you got, hey, I got a question for you. When the helicopters were coming around, did you know what was going to happen, Keith, or you just were surprised?
We did not. It was I have a bad feeling about this. We did not know until they showed up. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I lie. Jeff told me yesterday he was going to use the air assault on my artillery. And I should say as the team artillery. And then when he came on at Napa Berth on the far side of the map, we're like, oh, well, we'll put the artillery in this corner. Completely forgetting that if he found a route, he could be there in one turn. And then he went and did it.
Nice going, Jeff.
It was a brilliant move. It really was. But his payback was an F-111 MLRS strike. So that was really fun.
That's what hurt
the air mobile. Yeah.
The air mobile assault.
Here's our air assault commander in blue.
Very proud.
How did you guys all find the rules? Any problems with the rules? Any questions that came up that you didn't anticipate, Keith?
There's been lots of questions that come up, but the rules are perfect.
There we go. I'll leave it at that.
You guys, I can't hear what he's saying.
There are no perfect rules, but
they're really good. They're really good. I'll say this. I skimmed the. My name's Mark, by the way.
Hey, Keith, ask them to get closer. I can't hear them.
Yeah, we'll bring the camera. I'll bring the camera.
All right, that'll work. So hi, my name's Mark, and I just skimmed the rule book last night, just jumped right in, and I think it was pretty quick. So there's a lot of good enough detail, but at the same time, it's very intuitive and easy to learn. So these rules are great.
Great. And what were you, Air Command? We missed what he said before because he was too far away. What was he saying before?
Oh, about your air assault and the rules. Oh, what were you saying about the rules?
All the rules. I think the rules are good. I think the rules are really good, and the air assault was a perfect attack.
Because he's being nice, but I guess I'm not humble. He actually went and pre-ordered about an hour ago.
Yeah, about 2 hours ago. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right, thank you.
I guess my highlight has been holding with the T-80s in the middle of town,
holding back as much as I can all the American advances, and then my hero T80 who has defeated hit after hit after hit and just keeps on going.
He's going to be rewarded.
He's getting all of
If he's alive.
Yeah, we're putting together a special package.
Yeah, but that's okay because you guys have to dig that one guy
That's
out,
right.
and it shows that one guy has held you guys up for 2, almost 3 turns from advancing. So it doesn't take much on the battlefield to change stuff. So that's good.
All right, Jeff. What was your
for me,
favorite?
I'll sidestep the question, so to speak. But what I really enjoy is the team aspect of it.
Yes.
A number of times we have to come away from the table and we're talking about options and trying to figure out strategy. There's much more of a operational aspect to it. Where it's not just one battalion against another formation in a local firefight. It's a matter of maneuvering across the board and placing your forces in strategic spots to hold the objectives.
Well, and one of the things that we all agreed that we like this monster scenario so much is a lot of room to maneuver. And the best part is the scenario of length gives you enough time to maneuver. Because the Americans, they're taking their sweet time of coming up and being very deliberate and getting in position. And
that made a difference.
Absolutely.
They've been very successful in squeezing us.
And that's why this is fantastic. Normally games like this be like 8, 9 turns and that's it.
Right.
You don't have time to get in position, just like one, and then make the attack. 18 rounds, you can do what you want at your pace.
Yeah.
I think it also exhibits, when you look at the factors on the counters and stuff like that, just skimming through it, your first introduction, you think, oh, gee, these tanks, NATO tanks aren't all that much better than Soviets and everything. NATO doesn't have a marked degree of superiority in terms of equipment and everything, but it comes through on this where it's easy to by just reading the rule book, it's easy to underestimate the NATO command advantages, and in a scenario like this, it really comes through. I think where hey, 1-on-1, my T-80s are not afraid of the Abrams tank. Yeah, he has a little pop gun on it, but you know what? When his guys come up, his armor's pretty good, and I missed. He saved down the hits. He activates. He hits me. One disruption. I sit around. Wait. He activates again.
Yeah.
Disruption becomes a reduction. I wait again, and now another formation comes in. And, so there's a lot of coordination with the large you coordinate formation.
The combined arms really comes through where.
Just to expound on that, this game, you get the feel that you've got these very powerful Soviet units that are very flexible because they're not moving around. I mean, with the airborne the exception, you definitely get the feel that NATO has the flexibility and that situation happens. We react very quickly to it, and the Soviets are very slow to respond. And which is what we all expect from this time period. And the rules actually do bring that. And the board size lets you get that experience because there's enough maneuver. It's not, this particular scenario allows for a lot of different things to happen, and we get to see the long-term effect of that command advantage. Means we could do things like squeeze. To be perfectly honest, there's a lot of firepower right there, and we could not fight it head on, but we are able to outmaneuver it, which is what we've been doing.
Same thing when we're planning we have to plan ahead for our moves. Where if we don't want to engage a certain force, we need to make sure we keep a safe distance.
And we are much more reactive.
And the same for us, yeah.
And we're able to be much more reactive.
Yeah.
But I want to emphasize that this beautiful board and this the beautiful pieces and the tremendous amount of work that Mark and his team have done on this is one thing, but you get this. You can play this if you buy the game and the expansion.
Yeah,
it's in the expansion. Okay, this is the second scenario of the defensive Frankfurt expansion. You will have all the counters, hopefully all the markers, but you can play this. You can have this experience on a smaller tabletop scale because the paper maps are smaller. But this is what it can be, certainly the rules and the progress of the game, you can have that exact same experience.
Now, Keith, that's operational level, is that right?
It's platoon level, but the level we're doing this, I'm going to call it grand operational. It's with grand tactical. Grand tactical for me is like Atlantic Wall, where you have companies, but you have the whole division of companies. So here we got platoons, and we've got complete regiments and battalions. So I'm going to go with grand operational.
It's you can actually have a grand tactical game.
Well, a grand tacticals, I mean, I'm old school, so back when they did the really monster games like the first round of Highway to the Reich and Descent on Crete and Atlantic Wall, and now they've done reprints of these games.
Right.
But it was down to company level. Your counters were companies, but you had a whole division of companies. So you had multiple divisions. You had the whole, Normandy invasion at the company level. So yeah, they go back. I mean, that's what we call it back. That was grand.
It's funny because I don't know if it's because you guys are playing in teams, but it seems very close and personal. It seems very tactical, this game.
It's platoon level tactical is the official term I like to use.
Okay.
It really is a face-to-face kind of a thing. When you get down to the sharp edge of this,
it's
tank
a nice to tank, man.
Yeah, it's tank to tank. But like I said, you got tank to tank, and then in this scale, you have to worry about the Apaches, 27 hexes away, dumping Hellfire missiles on your head. So it's really an intense experience.
That's awesome. Really awesome.
How many hours you guys been playing now total?
Unless somebody else wants to say, that's pretty much what we got.
David wants to know how long we've been playing total.
Around 9.
Yeah, about 9.
Yeah,
but we
Did what, 3 hours yesterday?
No,
Yeah.
only like 2 hours.
Yeah, about 2 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
That's it.
And again,
But it's been a lot of jibber jabber.
we've been a lot of jibber jabber. We've been kibitzing, just usual. It's
So
games,
now-
so we're relaxing. So yeah, you set aside a weekend to probably play it. This particular scenario. Or
Tonight's your last night, right, guys?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up tonight.
Yeah.
So what time do you think you guys are going to be done?
Probably about 10:30, 11. So is that what we said?
11 o'clock.
11:30. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're not going to hold you up anymore from playing, unless Dan, you got any other questions?
No, I'm blown away. You guys really have I don't know. I'm into it. I have no words.
Maybe you'll come to the next one.
I hope so.
Next time.
All right, guys, we're going to end the thing, and let's, once again, keep it up. Please type what happened, okay, how it ended up. How many more turns you got to go, Keith?
This turn's 6, we have 12.
We got more turns and we got time.
We got more turns, we have time, but we're gonna make a go of it, and then we'll make an evaluation. But as for us, but yeah, it's gonna be intensity there. It's been as swirly as we said it was gonna be with revolving doors, left and right. It's like when both sides think they're losing, that's a pretty intense game.
All right, guys, we'll start waving.
Thank you very much, guys.
Well, that is all you have for this episode. Keep gaming, and may God bless you and keep you until next time. On the air is a Lock and Load Publishing production.